Hey folks, if you are starting out with Docker, this video is completely beast for you because by the end of this video, you had already deployed your first container. Also, this video is going to be completely hands-on, so no tutorial hell here. These are all the topics we are going to cover in this video, so you are in for a treat. It is basically a platform for developing, shipping, and running application inside the light-weighted, isolated containers that package the code and dependency together. And remember, container is the keyword here. We will come to it later. In simple word, what Docker is a platform which helps to containerize your code and dependency. So you will give Docker your code with all the dependency which are required to run your app, and it will wrap your code and dependency inside it, and then you can ship it from one operating system to another and the fun part is it will work same everywhere. Now, why I said that container is a keyword? Let's see. So, container is basically lightweighted, standalone executable package that include everything needed to run software. They can run isolated from each other but share the host operating system kernel. You can see that there is a box which contain our app, our Node.js servers, library and all the configuration file to run it. Now I can ship this anywhere I want. Remember, containers contain your app and its dependency. And you may ask, is it the only one who is doing it right now? Because in fact, there are some more platforms which are used to containerization of apps, such as Containerd and another one is Builder. But why we are learning Docker so? Because Docker is the one who made it containerization famous, and it is widely used. Container. Let me write it here. Docker is used to make con- containers. But the question still arises, how does it make containers? So it uses something called Docker D, which is also called as Docker daemon. So it is the one who do all the heavy lifting. You can call Docker D as the heart of Docker, which do all the heavy lifting in background. So now you know that Docker use Docker D to make containers. Now you can't access Docker D directly. There are two ways to access Docker D. First is Docker CLI and second is a Docker client. We will talk more about this all just in a bit. But so why we are even using Docker? So there used to be a very popular meme. It works on my machine where the developer used to make their app and it used to work completely fine on their machine. But when it's time to ship the app, you have assigned a task to work on a Python app. So here's your computer, which is a Linux, and here's your developer friend computer, which is a window. Now you write your code in Python, and remember you have a different OS, you might have a different version of Python. So when you like share your code with your developer friend, there is a chance that due to the change of version and operating system, the code you write might work on your computer, but the same code might not work on your friend computer. So that's why containers are important. Let you are sending a parcel to your friend who lives far away from you. So you put everything inside a box. Let me put some things inside the box. Those are the circles, but you can put multiple things. It's good to be generous sometime. So I have put some circles here. It's too generous of me. So anyways, and now I package it and ship it to my friend. Here's my friend. Let me draw him. He got a face of circle and a body. Now whenever he gets the parcel, he can just open it and take all the resources which we shared to him. But if we had decided to send it without a package, so it might get broken in the way. So the containers do the same thing here. Now, one of the frequently asked question is, so what is the difference between a Oracle virtual machine and Docker? Basically, Dockers are containers which share host kernels. They are lightweighted, might be in MBs, and they are super fast. They like start in seconds. And the virtual machine, on the other hand, They create a full virtual environment inside your machine. They make a full operating system. So if you have tried to download a Ubuntu inside your virtual machine, so it requires 4 to 6 GB of the storage, where the containers took MBs and they are lightweighted. When you are using a virtual machine has a layer called hypervisor. So up top this hypervisor, you install your guest OS. Just suppose Ubuntu. So here I will install my Ubuntu, and it will install with everything, all the bloatwares, all the files, everything required to run our operating system. Whereas in containers, there is an operating system, and up top it, I will install a container engine. So we are learning Docker. So we will install a Docker engine, and up top that engine we can run anything. Just in a bit we are going to do some hands-on. We have to do a hands-on project that will make it more clear. But before, let's go back, and here we got to know about Docker CLI and Docker client. So Docker CLI is basically Docker command line interface, and this is very crucial because every time you won't be getting a GUI, so you had to work with command line interface. So to install Docker CLI, you can just write this command sudo apt install docker.io. So if you don't know what this sudo apt install is, you should first refer to our Linux for Dummies video. It will give you a very clear idea of Linux command and help you get started with Linux. By the way, there's another option which is Docker Desktop. It is basically a GUI for Docker. It's a very good resource. Here you can access Docker CLI. It is very useful because you can literally see everything in it very simply because it's a GUI, graphical user interface. So to download it, you have to go to any search engine and type Docker install. So I am currently working on Windows, so I will download it for Windows. Once you downloaded Docker Desktop, you will see a interface something like this. I already have a container. Let's just delete it. So now the interface might be more familiar. You have to make an account here. I already have an account, but I will show you anyways. Let me sign out. Alright, so just click on sign in and log in with your Google account or GitHub account. It's very simple. And now you can proceed to Docker Desktop. You are logged in and ready to go. But before, while we are talking about login, let's just log in somewhere else. You have to go to hub.docker.com, link in description by the way, and you have to sign it here too. It is basically something like GitHub but for Docker and containers. So let's just sign in, or if you do not have an account, just sign up, do the same process. Let me sign in. We are logged in here too, but what is Docker Hub and why we use it? So to understand about Docker Hub, we had to understand the life cycle of a container. First of all, we have a Docker file, a Docker file which produces a Docker image, and now our Docker image is the one which help us to make the containers. Let me make the containers. So here's containers, and here's another thing I forgot to mention, which is very important, that you see that there is a gap between all the containers. Here in the image too, there's a gap between all the containers. It is because if all the containers are together, the security might be compromised. So if a hacker got access to one container, so that's why we have isolated containers. First, we have a Docker file, it got converted into Docker image. Now we have a container. Let me write here containers. All right. Docker Hub is a place where you can get